Sophie was a kind-hearted and diligent young woman who always sought to help others. Working at a gas station, her days were filled with interactions with people from all walks of life. Despite the challenges of her job, Sophie found satisfaction in the small acts of kindness she could offer. Each day, her primary motivation was the hope of making someone's life a bit better. However, beneath her positive attitude lay a constant fear of losing her job, a fear that kept her on edge and fully dedicated. This fear was not just about financial stability, but also about her identity and purpose in life. Mr. Harold, on the other hand, was a gracious and appreciative elderly man with a life rich in stories and experiences. He had seen much in his time, and although he now faced loneliness, he maintained a kind spirit and a smile for those he encountered. His days were marked by routine, yet he always found a moment to reminisce about his younger years and the lessons he had learned. Despite his fragile appearance, Mr. Harold possessed a profound inner strength that kept him going. His past was filled with adventures and trials that shaped his wise and gentle nature. The relationship between Sophie and Mr. Harold began unexpectedly. One day, while Sophie was working at the gas station, she noticed that Mr. Harold was struggling to pay for his gas. Without hesitation, she decided to pay for his gas with her own money, a small act of kindness that would not go unnoticed. This seemingly simple gesture marked the beginning of a profound connection between them, one that would change their lives in ways neither could have imagined. This act of generosity from Sophie was a spark that lit up the beginning of a meaningful friendship. Sophie found not only sustenance in her job, but also a sense of purpose. Helping others made her feel useful and appreciated, though she often wondered if anyone would ever do something for her. The fear of losing her job was a constant shadow, a worry she could only alleviate through her dedication and hard work. Each day, Sophie arrived at the gas station with the hope that her kindness would be enough to secure her position. Her empathy and compassion were her guiding lights in a world that often seemed indifferent. Mr. Harold, in contrast, found an escape from his loneliness in his visits to the gas station. The brief interactions with Sophie were a ray of light in his days, reminding him that there was still goodness in the world. Although he didn't express it openly, each visit was a small victory against the despair that sometimes threatened to overwhelm him. He admired Sophie's selflessness and saw in her a reflection of the generosity he once practiced in his younger days. This connection was more than just a casual acquaintance. It was a lifeline for both of them. The bond between Sophie and Mr. Harold grew stronger with each encounter. They began to share more than just polite conversation, delving into stories of their lives, their hopes, and their fears. Sophie was captivated by Mr. Harold's tales of adventure and resilience, while he found solace in her unwavering optimism. This mutual exchange of stories and support created a foundation of trust and friendship. They became each other's confidants, finding comfort in the shared understanding and respect that blossomed between them. Sophie's dedication to her job and her inherent kindness became a source of inspiration for Mr. Harold. He saw in her the qualities of a person who could make a real difference in the world, despite the modesty of her circumstances. Her actions reminded him of the importance of small, everyday acts of kindness. In turn, Mr. Harold's wisdom and life experiences provided Sophie with a broader perspective on life. Their relationship was symbiotic, each gaining something invaluable from the other. Their growing friendship brought a new dimension to Sophie's daily routine. The gas station, once merely a place of work, transformed into a beacon of hope and human connection. Sophie looked forward to Mr. Harold's visits, knowing that they would bring a moment of respite and joy amidst the hustle and bustle. These moments became highlights of her day, infusing her work with a deeper sense of purpose. The bond they shared was a testament to the power of genuine human interaction. For Mr. Harold, the relationship with Sophie was a reminder that he still had much to offer. Her willingness to listen and learn from his stories gave him a renewed sense of purpose. He felt valued and appreciated, something he had missed since retiring and losing many of his close companions. This intergenerational friendship was a source of strength and rejuvenation for him, providing a sense of continuity and legacy. It was through Sophie that Mr. Harold found a way to continue impacting the world positively. As they navigated their respective struggles, Sophie and Mr. Harold's bond only grew stronger. Their friendship became a source of hope and resilience, helping them face their fears and uncertainties with newfound courage. Sophie's kindness and Mr. Harold's wisdom intertwined, creating a narrative of mutual support and transformation. This relationship was more than just a chance meeting. It was a lifeline that brought meaning and joy into their lives. Together, they were able to navigate the complexities of their worlds with grace and compassion. Sophie was at her usual spot at the gas station, working diligently as the sun began to set. The end of the day often brought a rush of customers, and she was used to the busy pace. Among the familiar faces, she noticed Mr. Harold's old car pulling up to the pump. He seemed to be struggling with something, and Sophie's instinctive kindness urged her to check on him. As she approached, she saw the worry etched on his face, a stark contrast to his usual cheerful demeanor. Something was definitely wrong, and Sophie felt a pang of concern. Mr. Harold fumbled with his wallet, his hands shaking slightly. Sophie offered a gentle smile, trying to ease his evident distress. "Is everything all right, Mr. Harold?" she asked softly. He looked up, his eyes reflecting both embarrassment and gratitude. "I'm afraid I don't have enough to pay for the gas today," he admitted, his voice tinged with shame. Sophie's heart ached for him. She knew how proud he was and how difficult it must be for him to admit this. Without hesitation, she made a decision that would set off a chain of unforeseen events. Sophie reached into her own pocket and pulled out a few bills. "Don't worry about it, Mr. Harold. I'll cover it for you," she said with a reassuring smile. Mr. Harold's eyes widened in surprise and relief. He started to protest, but Sophie gently insisted. "It's the least I can do for a friend," she added. This simple act of kindness created an immediate bond between them, a connection that was both unexpected and profound. Little did they know, this moment would change their lives forever. As Sophie returned to her station, she couldn't shake off the feeling of fulfillment. Helping Mr. Harold had filled her with a warmth that transcended the mundane routines of her job. She watched as he drove away, his car disappearing into the dusk, and she hoped that her small gesture had made a difference. What she didn't realize was that her actions had been noticed. Her boss, standing nearby, had seen everything unfold and had drawn his own conclusions, ones that would have serious repercussions for Sophie. Sophie's boss, Mr. Thompson, was a strict and somewhat paranoid man. He had always been wary of his employees, constantly worried about potential theft or dishonesty. Seeing Sophie hand over money to Mr. Harold, he immediately assumed the worst. He believed she was giving away company funds and decided to confront her. As the evening crowd dwindled, Mr. Thompson approached Sophie with a stern expression, his voice harsh and accusatory. "What do you think you're doing, giving away money?" he demanded. Caught off guard, Sophie tried to explain. "Mr. Harold needed help, and I used my own money to pay for his gas," she said, her voice steady but pleading. Mr. Thompson was not convinced. "Do you expect me to believe that? You're stealing from the company," he accused. Sophie's heart sank. Despite her best efforts to clarify, her boss's mind was made up. He saw her actions as a breach of trust and, without giving her a chance to defend herself, he made a drastic decision. "You're fired, effective immediately," he declared. The suddenness of her dismissal left Sophie in shock. One moment she was performing an act of kindness, and the next, her world was turned upside down. She watched in disbelief as Mr. Thompson walked away, his decision final. The gravity of the situation hit her hard, and she felt tears welling up in her eyes. How could something so innocent and well-intentioned lead to such a severe consequence? The gas station, once a place where she felt a sense of purpose, now seemed cold and unwelcoming. Mr. Harold, unaware of the turmoil his predicament had caused, drove home with a heart full of gratitude. He thought about Sophie's kindness and how it had brightened his day. When he arrived home, he decided to write her a letter of thanks, wanting to express his appreciation in words. Meanwhile, Sophie was left to grapple with her new reality. The loss of her job was a heavy blow, and the uncertainty of what came next was daunting. She felt a mix of fear and frustration, questioning how everything had gone so wrong so quickly. As Sophie packed up her things, the gas station felt emptier than ever. Each familiar corner now held a memory of her time there, a testament to her hard work and dedication. She couldn't believe that her journey at the station had ended so abruptly and unfairly. With a heavy heart, she stepped outside, the cool night air hitting her face. She felt a sense of loss, not just for her job, but for the routine and stability it provided. However, deep down, she knew she had done the right thing by helping Mr. Harold. The walk home was long and filled with introspection. Sophie replayed the events of the evening in her mind, trying to make sense of it all. Her act of kindness had led to her losing her job, but she couldn't bring herself to regret helping Mr. Harold. As she neared her apartment, a resolve began to form within her. She wouldn't let this setback define her. Somehow, she would find a way to move forward. And unbeknownst to her, Mr. Harold was about to play a pivotal role in that journey, setting the stage for a series of surprising and transformative events. The evening after Sophie's dismissal was heavy with uncertainty. The reality of losing her job hit her with full force as she sat in her small apartment, contemplating her next steps. Bills and rent were looming, and she had no immediate prospects for another job. The injustice of the situation gnawed at her, but she knew she couldn't afford to dwell on it for too long. She needed to find a solution, and quickly. As she pondered her options, a knock on the door startled her out of her thoughts. Standing at her doorstep was Mr. Harold, holding an envelope in his hand. Sophie's heart skipped a beat. She hadn't expected to see him so soon, especially not after the chaos that had ensued at the gas station. "Mr. Harold, what are you doing here?" she asked, her voice a mix of surprise and curiosity. Mr. Harold looked at her with kind eyes, but there was a hint of worry in his expression. "I heard what happened after I left. I'm so sorry, Sophie. This is all my fault," he said, handing her the envelope. Sophie took the envelope, confused. Inside, she found a letter of heartfelt gratitude and a small sum of money. Tears welled up in her eyes as she read Mr. Harold's words, expressing his deep appreciation for her kindness. He also mentioned that he had spoken to some friends in hopes of finding her a new job. "You shouldn't have done this," Sophie said, touched by his gesture, but also feeling guilty for accepting his money. Mr. Harold shook his head. "It's the least I can do. You helped me when I needed it the most," he replied. Despite Mr. Harold's kind gesture, Sophie's situation remained dire. The money he had given her would help, but it wasn't enough to cover her expenses for long. She spent the next few days tirelessly searching for a new job, but the market was tough and opportunities were scarce. Each rejection added to her anxiety, and the pressure of her financial situation weighed heavily on her shoulders. The fear of not being able to make ends meet became a constant presence in her life, overshadowing everything else. During this time, Mr. Harold couldn't shake off the guilt he felt. He knew that Sophie's act of kindness had led to her losing her job, and he felt a deep sense of responsibility. Determined to make things right, he started reaching out to his old business contacts, hoping to find an opportunity for Sophie. His efforts, however, seemed to be in vain as days turned into weeks without any promising leads. The frustration and helplessness gnawed at him, but he refused to give up. Sophie's days were a blur of job applications and interviews, each one ending in disappointment. The emotional toll of her situation began to show, and she struggled to keep her spirits up. The support from Mr. Harold was a beacon of hope, but she couldn't help but feel like a burden. One evening, as they sat together in her apartment, Sophie voiced her fears. "I don't know how much longer I can keep this up, Mr. Harold. What if I never find another job?" she asked, her voice trembling with emotion. Mr. Harold reached out and took her hand, his grip firm and reassuring. "You will find something, Sophie. You're strong and capable, and I believe in you," he said. His words offered a glimmer of hope, but Sophie still felt the weight of her circumstances pressing down on her. The uncertainty of her future was a constant source of anxiety, and the fear of losing everything she had worked for loomed large. She needed a breakthrough, something to change the trajectory of her life. One particularly difficult day, Sophie received a call from an unfamiliar number. She answered hesitantly, her heart pounding in her chest. On the other end was a woman named Linda, who introduced herself as a friend of Mr. Harold. "I've heard a lot about you, Sophie. Mr. Harold speaks very highly of you," Linda began. She explained that she owned a small but growing company and was looking for someone with Sophie's skills and dedication. The conversation filled Sophie with a cautious optimism. The next morning, Sophie went to meet Linda at her office. The opportunity seemed almost too good to be true, and Sophie was afraid to get her hopes up. However, as the interview progressed, she felt a growing sense of possibility. Linda was impressed by Sophie's work ethic and her commitment to helping others. By the end of the meeting, she offered Sophie a job, one that not only paid better but also came with more opportunities for growth. Sophie was overwhelmed with relief and gratitude. As she walked out of Linda's office, Sophie felt a weight lift off her shoulders. The new job was a chance to start over, to rebuild her life and leave behind the uncertainty that had plagued her. She couldn't wait to share the news with Mr. Harold. Rushing to his house, she found him in the garden, tending to his plants. "Mr. Harold, I got the job," she exclaimed, her face alight with joy. Mr. Harold's eyes sparkled with pride and happiness. "I knew you would, Sophie. I never doubted you," he said, hugging her tightly. This turn of events marked a new beginning for Sophie. The kindness she had shown to Mr. Harold had come full circle, bringing unexpected blessings into her life. She started her new job with a renewed sense of purpose and determination. Mr. Harold's unwavering support had been instrumental in this transformation, and their bond grew even stronger. As Sophie settled into her new role, she felt a deep sense of gratitude for the journey that had brought her here. Little did she know, there were still more surprises in store, shaping the path ahead in ways she couldn't yet foresee. Sophie's first few days at her new job were a whirlwind of activity and emotions. The sense of relief from securing employment quickly gave way to the pressures of adapting to a new environment. She was determined to prove herself, but the fear of failing still lingered. Each task was a test, and each interaction a potential pitfall. The stakes felt incredibly high, and the weight of her recent experiences pressed on her heavily. Her nights were restless, filled with dreams of what could go wrong, but she pushed through with sheer willpower. Mr. Harold, meanwhile, felt a persistent guilt gnawing at him. He was thrilled that Sophie had found new employment, but he couldn't shake off the feeling that her ordeal was a direct result of helping him. His daily visits to Sophie's apartment became more frequent, not just to check on her, but to offer his wisdom and encouragement. Each conversation they shared reinforced their bond, and Mr. Harold found a renewed sense of purpose in being her mentor and friend. His own loneliness began to fade, replaced by a deepening sense of connection. Sophie faced an unexpected challenge at work when she was assigned a particularly complex project. The task was beyond anything she had handled before, and the pressure was immense. She stayed late at the office, trying to make sense of the intricate details and meet the demanding deadlines. Despite her best efforts, she felt herself slipping, the weight of her responsibilities becoming overwhelming. Her confidence, already fragile, began to waver. She felt as though she was constantly on the brink of failure, and the fear of disappointing Linda loomed large. In the midst of this struggle, Mr. Harold's support was unwavering. He spent hours with Sophie, going over her work and offering insights from his own experiences. His patience and wisdom were invaluable, providing Sophie with the guidance she desperately needed. One evening, as they pored over the project documents, Mr. Harold shared a story from his past about a time when he had faced a similar challenge. His words resonated deeply with Sophie, giving her a new perspective and a renewed sense of hope. Despite their best efforts, there were moments when the stress became too much for Sophie. She would break down in tears, the pressure and exhaustion finally taking their toll. Mr. Harold was always there, offering a comforting presence and reminding her of her strength and resilience. His belief in her never wavered, even when she doubted herself. These moments of vulnerability were painful, but they also brought Sophie and Mr. Harold closer together. Their bond, forged in adversity, became a source of profound comfort and strength. The emotional roller coaster Sophie was on took its toll, but it also brought unexpected clarity. She began to see her struggles not as insurmountable obstacles, but as opportunities for growth. Each challenge she faced, with Mr. Harold by her side, became a lesson in perseverance and resilience. Her late-night work sessions turned into moments of reflection and self-discovery. The project that once seemed impossible gradually started to come together, and Sophie found herself growing more confident with each passing day. One pivotal moment came when Sophie had to present her progress to Linda and the team. She was terrified, her mind racing with worst-case scenarios. Mr. Harold's words of encouragement echoed in her ears as she stood before her colleagues. To her surprise, the presentation went smoothly. Linda was impressed with her dedication and the progress she had made. The positive feedback was a turning point for Sophie, reinforcing her belief in her own capabilities. It was a small victory, but it felt monumental. With renewed confidence, Sophie threw herself into the project with even greater determination. She worked tirelessly, driven by a desire to succeed not just for herself, but for Mr. Harold, whose unwavering support had been her lifeline. The long hours and hard work began to pay off, and the project started to take shape. Sophie's colleagues noticed her dedication and began to rally around her, offering their support and assistance. The sense of camaraderie was a new and welcome experience for Sophie, who had often felt isolated in her struggles. Mr. Harold watched with pride as Sophie blossomed in her new role. He had always believed in her, but seeing her growth firsthand was deeply gratifying. Their relationship had become one of mutual respect and admiration, each drawing strength from the other. Sophie's success was a testament to the power of kindness and perseverance. As the project neared completion, Sophie felt a deep sense of accomplishment and gratitude. The journey had been arduous, but it had also been transformative. The final days of the project were intense, but Sophie felt more prepared than ever. With Mr. Harold's guidance and the support of her colleagues, she was able to bring the project to a successful conclusion. The sense of relief and pride was overwhelming. Sophie realized that the challenges she had faced had not only tested her limits, but had also revealed her true potential. As she celebrated the completion of the project, she knew that this was just the beginning of her journey. The lessons learned and the bonds formed would continue to shape her path forward, with Mr. Harold by her side, guiding her through whatever came next. 2 hours after Sophie was let go from the gas station, she received an unexpected call that would change her life. The phone rang just as she was contemplating her next steps, her mind a whirl of uncertainty and anxiety. On the other end of the line was Mr. Harold, his voice carrying an unusual mix of excitement and urgency. "Sophie, I need you to come to my house immediately. There's something important we need to discuss," he said, his tone leaving no room for hesitation. Sophie, intrigued and slightly apprehensive, agreed and quickly made her way to Mr. Harold's home. When Sophie arrived, Mr. Harold welcomed her with a warm smile and ushered her into his cozy living room. There was a palpable sense of anticipation in the air, and Sophie couldn't help but feel a flicker of hope. "I have a confession to make," Mr. Harold began, his eyes twinkling with a mixture of amusement and seriousness. "I haven't been entirely honest with you about my background. You see, I'm not just a retired old man. I was an entrepreneur, and I built a successful business before I retired," he revealed. Sophie's eyes widened in surprise as she processed his words. Mr. Harold continued, explaining that he had always valued kindness and generosity, principles that guided him throughout his career. Seeing those same qualities in Sophie had deeply moved him. "I've been thinking a lot about your situation, and I believe I can help," he said, reaching for a folder on the coffee table. Inside were documents outlining a job offer for Sophie, one that promised a better salary and more opportunities than she had ever imagined. "I want you to work for me, Sophie. I need someone with your dedication and compassion in my company," Mr. Harold proposed. Sophie was overwhelmed with emotion. The despair and uncertainty that had clouded her mind began to dissipate, replaced by a growing sense of hope and gratitude. She could hardly believe what she was hearing. "Are you serious, Mr. Harold? This is incredible," she stammered, tears of relief streaming down her face. Mr. Harold nodded, his expression warm and reassuring. "I've never been more serious. You deserve this opportunity, Sophie. Your kindness has touched my heart, and I want to repay that kindness by helping you succeed," he affirmed. The following days were a whirlwind of activity as Sophie transitioned into her new role. The job was challenging, but she embraced it with determination and enthusiasm. With Mr. Harold's mentorship, she quickly adapted to the demands of her new position. Her colleagues were impressed by her work ethic and dedication, and she began to earn their respect and admiration. The transformation in Sophie's life was profound, and she felt a renewed sense of purpose and fulfillment. The fear and uncertainty that had once plagued her were now replaced by confidence and optimism. Mr. Harold, too, found himself rejuvenated by the experience. Helping Sophie had given him a new sense of purpose and joy. Their relationship, initially based on a simple act of kindness, had evolved into a deep and meaningful friendship. Mr. Harold took great pride in Sophie's achievements, and her success became a source of immense satisfaction for him. Together, they navigated the challenges of their respective roles, each drawing strength and inspiration from the other. The bond they shared was a testament to the transformative power of generosity and support. As Sophie settled into her new job, she couldn't help but reflect on the journey that had brought her here. The unexpected turn of events had been both a test and a blessing. She had faced significant challenges, but each obstacle had ultimately led to growth and opportunity. Mr. Harold's intervention had not only saved her from a dire situation, but had also opened doors she had never dreamed possible. The experience reinforced her belief in the importance of kindness and the impact it could have on people's lives. The climax of Sophie's story was a moment of profound revelation and transformation. The despair that had once threatened to overwhelm her was replaced by hope and a clear sense of direction. She had learned that even in the darkest of times, acts of kindness could spark change and bring about unexpected opportunities. Her journey with Mr. Harold had shown her the true value of compassion and the incredible potential it held for creating positive change. Sophie's new job was more than just employment. It was a testament to the enduring power of goodwill and mutual support. As time passed, Sophie and Mr. Harold continued to work closely together, their bond growing stronger with each passing day. They faced challenges and celebrated successes, always supporting each other through thick and thin. Their partnership was a shining example of how lives could be transformed through simple acts of kindness and the willingness to help one another. Sophie's life had been irrevocably changed by her connection with Mr. Harold, and she knew that their journey together was far from over. Sophie's story was a powerful reminder that even the smallest acts of kindness could have far-reaching effects. Her journey from despair to hope, from uncertainty to confidence, was a testament to the transformative power of compassion. With Mr. Harold by her side, Sophie was ready to face whatever the future held, knowing that together they could overcome any obstacle. Their story was far from over, and Sophie looked forward to the next chapter with excitement and anticipation. Sophie's new job brought a profound sense of stability and purpose to her life. As she settled into her role, she felt a deep gratitude for the second chance she had been given. Each morning, she woke up with a renewed sense of determination, eager to make the most of this opportunity. Her work was fulfilling, and the challenges she faced only strengthened her resolve. Sophie's dedication and hard work did not go unnoticed. Her colleagues admired her tenacity and commitment. The environment was supportive, and Sophie felt valued and appreciated in ways she never had before. Mr. Harold, too, experienced a renewed sense of purpose through his mentorship of Sophie. Watching her grow and thrive in her new role filled him with pride and satisfaction. He took every opportunity to guide and support her, drawing on his vast experience to help her navigate the complexities of the business world. Their relationship, built on mutual respect and admiration, became a cornerstone of both their lives. Mr. Harold's loneliness was replaced by a sense of fulfillment and joy, knowing that he was making a significant impact on Sophie's life. The bond between Sophie and Mr. Harold continued to deepen, transforming into a lasting friendship that enriched both their lives. They shared not only work-related challenges but also personal stories, hopes, and dreams. Sophie found in Mr. Harold a mentor and a friend who understood her struggles and aspirations. Their connection was more than professional. It was a profound and heartfelt bond that provided both of them with strength and encouragement. The warmth of their friendship became a source of comfort and joy, illuminating their lives in unexpected ways. Sophie's new job was not just a means of financial stability. It was an avenue for personal growth and development. She embraced every opportunity to learn and improve, driven by a desire to succeed and make a meaningful impact. The confidence she gained from her achievements spilled over into other areas of her life, fostering a sense of self-assurance and optimism. Sophie's journey from despair to hope was a testament to her resilience and the power of kindness. The transformation she experienced was profound, and she was determined to continue growing and thriving. Mr. Harold's decision to help Sophie had far-reaching effects on his own life as well. The act of giving back and supporting someone in need brought a renewed sense of purpose to his days. He felt a deep sense of fulfillment knowing that he was contributing to Sophie's success and happiness. The friendship that blossomed from this act of kindness became a cherished part of his life, providing him with companionship and joy. Mr. Harold's generosity and compassion were rewarded in ways he had never anticipated, enriching his life beyond measure. As Sophie excelled in her new role, she never forgot the kindness that had brought her to this point. She made it a point to pay it forward, helping others whenever she could. Her experiences had taught her the value of compassion and the impact it could have on people's lives. Sophie's journey inspired those around her, and her story became a beacon of hope and resilience. The lessons she had learned from Mr. Harold and her own struggles fueled her desire to make a positive difference in the world. She embraced each day with gratitude and determination, ready to face any challenge that came her way. The friendship between Sophie and Mr. Harold became a source of inspiration for others as well. Their story of mutual support and kindness resonated with those who knew them, highlighting the transformative power of human connection. The gas station, where their journey had begun, became a symbol of hope and second chances. Sophie often visited the place, not with a sense of loss, but with a sense of gratitude for the unexpected turn of events that had led her to where she was. The memories of her time there were now intertwined with a deep appreciation for the journey she had undertaken. Sophie's success was a testament to the power of resilience and the impact of small acts of kindness. Her life had been transformed by a single gesture of generosity, leading to a cascade of positive changes. She was determined to continue this cycle of kindness, knowing that even the smallest acts could have profound effects. Sophie's journey was far from over, and she looked forward to the future with hope and excitement. The lessons she had learned and the bonds she had formed would continue to guide her, shaping her path in ways she couldn't yet foresee. Mr. Harold, too, found a renewed sense of purpose and joy in his life. Helping Sophie had given him a new lease on life, filling his days with meaningful activity and companionship. The friendship that had blossomed from their initial encounter became a source of deep satisfaction and happiness. Mr. Harold's generosity had come full circle, enriching his own life in unexpected ways. As he watched Sophie grow and succeed, he felt a profound sense of pride and fulfillment. Their journey together was a testament to the enduring power of kindness and the impact it could have on people's lives. Sophie and Mr. Harold's story was a powerful reminder of the importance of compassion and support. Their bond, forged through adversity and kindness, became a beacon of hope and resilience. Together, they faced challenges and celebrated victories, their friendship growing stronger with each passing day. The lessons they learned from each other and the experiences they shared created a lasting legacy of generosity and mutual support. As they looked to the future, they knew that their journey was far from over, and they were ready to face whatever came next, united in their commitment to kindness and compassion. The gas station where Sophie worked had always been a bustling hub of activity. The smell of gasoline mixed with the faint aroma of freshly brewed coffee from the small convenience store nearby. The sound of cars pulling in and out, the hum of engines, and the occasional beep of horns created a symphony of everyday life. The neon lights flickered above, casting a bright yet somehow comforting glow over the scene. It was in this vibrant, chaotic environment that Sophie's act of kindness towards Mr. Harold took place, setting off a chain of transformative events. When Sophie decided to pay for Mr. Harold's gasoline, the expression of gratitude on his face was unforgettable. His eyes, once clouded with worry, sparkled with relief and appreciation. The corners of his mouth lifted into a gentle smile, a silent thank you that spoke volumes. Sophie could feel the warmth of his gratitude envelop her, a stark contrast to the cool evening air. This moment, etched in her memory, was a turning point in their lives, marked by a simple yet profound act of generosity. The office where Mr. Harold offered Sophie her new job was a stark contrast to the gas station. It was a place of elegance and calm, with large windows that let in an abundance of natural light. The walls were adorned with tasteful art, and the air was filled with a subtle scent of lavender, creating an atmosphere of tranquility and hope. As Sophie sat in the plush chair opposite Mr. Harold's desk, the weight of her recent struggles seemed to lift. The environment itself felt like a promise of better things to come, a fresh start in a welcoming space. When Sophie began her new job, the sensory details of her workplace became part of her daily life. The rhythmic tapping of keyboards, the soft murmur of conversations, and the occasional ring of phones created a backdrop of industrious activity. The office was a hive of productivity, with colleagues moving with purpose and focus. The scent of fresh paper and ink mingled with the aroma of coffee brewing in the break room, grounding Sophie in the reality of her new position. These details became markers of her progress, symbols of her journey from uncertainty to stability. In contrast, the moments of reflection Sophie shared with Mr. Harold often took place in his serene garden. The garden was a haven of peace, filled with vibrant flowers and the gentle rustle of leaves in the breeze. The fragrance of roses and jasmine filled the air, mingling with the earthy scent of freshly turned soil. Sitting on a wooden bench, surrounded by nature's beauty, Sophie and Mr. Harold's conversations were imbued with a sense of calm and introspection. The garden was a sanctuary where they could escape the pressures of their daily lives and find solace in each other's company. The transition from the chaotic gas station to the serene office and tranquil garden was a journey marked by vivid sensory experiences. Each environment played a crucial role in Sophie's transformation, reflecting the changes she underwent. The bustling activity of the gas station, the elegance of the office, and the peacefulness of the garden each represented different stages of her journey. These sensory details enriched Sophie's experiences, grounding her story in a tapestry of sights, sounds, and scents that underscored her growth and resilience. The atmosphere at the gas station, initially filled with stress and desperation, gradually transformed into one of hope and renewal. The flickering neon lights, once a symbol of Sophie's struggles, became a reminder of her strength and perseverance. The office, with its elegant decor and calming ambience, embodied the promise of a brighter future. The garden, with its natural beauty and peaceful aura, provided a space for reflection and healing. These vivid settings formed the backdrop of Sophie's journey, enhancing the emotional depth of her story. As Sophie settled into her new job, The atmosphere in the office began to reflect her growing confidence and optimism. The once intimidating environment became familiar and welcoming, filled with the supportive presence of her colleagues. The subtle hum of the office, the gentle clatter of keyboards, and the occasional laughter from the break room created a sense of community and belonging. Sophie's desk, adorned with personal touches and tokens of encouragement from Mr. Harold, became a symbol of her achievements and the support that had brought her this far. In Mr. Harold's garden, the sensory details took on a deeper significance. The changing seasons brought new colors and fragrances, mirroring the evolving nature of Sophie and Mr. Harold's friendship. The vibrant blossoms of spring, the lush greenery of summer, the rich hues of autumn, and the serene stillness of winter each marked different phases of their journey. The garden was a living testament to the growth and renewal that characterized their relationship, a place where they could find inspiration and strength. These vivid visual and sensory details enriched Sophie's story, adding layers of meaning and emotion to her journey. The bustling gas station, the elegant office, and the tranquil garden each played a pivotal role in her transformation, grounding her experiences in a rich tapestry of sights, sounds, and scents. Through these environments, Sophie's story came to life, capturing the essence of her resilience, the power of kindness, and the enduring strength of human connection. The vividness of these details created an immersive experience, drawing readers into Sophie's world and highlighting the profound impact of her journey. The journey that Sophie and Mr. Harold had undertaken was filled with moments that forged a deep emotional connection between them. Sophie's act of kindness at the gas station had sparked a chain of events that brought them closer in ways they never expected. The bond they developed was built on mutual respect, admiration, and a shared commitment to helping one another. This connection was not only a source of strength for them, but also a beacon of hope and inspiration for those around them. Sophie's vulnerability in the face of losing her job created a sense of empathy in Mr. Harold. He saw in her a reflection of the struggles he had faced in his own life. This understanding fueled his determination to support her in any way he could. His generosity and unwavering belief in Sophie's potential were instrumental in helping her navigate the challenges she encountered. This mutual support system became the cornerstone of their relationship, a foundation that allowed both of them to grow and thrive. The audience felt a deep sense of empathy for Sophie as she confronted the unfairness of her dismissal and the uncertainty of her future. Her resilience in the face of adversity and her willingness to help others, even when she was struggling, resonated with many. The unfair treatment she endured at the gas station evoked a strong emotional response, and viewers couldn't help but root for her to overcome the obstacles in her path. Sophie's story was a testament to the power of resilience and the importance of standing up for what is right. Mr. Harold's efforts to make amends for the unintended consequences of Sophie's kindness showcased his own vulnerability. His determination to help Sophie find a new job and his willingness to use his resources for her benefit revealed a depth of character that was both touching and inspiring. The audience sympathized with his guilt and admired his resolve to set things right. His actions highlighted the impact that one person's generosity could have on another's life, creating a powerful narrative of redemption and goodwill. The moments of vulnerability shared between Sophie and Mr. Harold were poignant and heartfelt. Sophie's tears and fears, her moments of doubt and despair, were met with Mr. Harold's unwavering support and encouragement. These interactions were a testament to the strength of their bond and the genuine care they had for one another. The audience was drawn into these intimate moments, feeling the weight of Sophie's struggles and the warmth of Mr. Harold's compassion. The emotional depth of their relationship created a strong connection with viewers. Sophie's gratitude and appreciation for Mr. Harold's support were evident in every action she took. Her determination to succeed in her new job was fueled by a desire to repay his kindness and make him proud. The audience could feel the sincerity of her efforts and the depth of her gratitude. This mutual respect and admiration added layers of complexity to their relationship, making it more relatable and impactful. The emotional connection between Sophie and Mr. Harold was a driving force in their journey, creating a narrative that was both compelling and inspiring. The impact of Sophie and Mr. Harold's story extended beyond their personal relationship. Their journey inspired those around them to embrace kindness and generosity. Colleagues, friends, and even strangers who heard their story were moved by the power of their connection and the positive changes it brought about. The ripple effect of their actions demonstrated the far-reaching impact of compassion and support. The audience was reminded of the importance of small acts of kindness and the profound difference they could make in someone's life. Sophie's moments of triumph were shared with Mr. Harold, and each victory felt like a collective achievement. The audience celebrated these milestones with them, feeling the joy and relief that came with each success. The transformation in Sophie's life, from uncertainty and fear to confidence and stability, was a journey that resonated deeply with viewers. Mr. Harold's role in this transformation was a testament to the power of mentorship and the impact of believing in someone's potential. Their story was a powerful reminder of the difference that one person's faith and support could make. The enduring friendship between Sophie and Mr. Harold became a source of hope and inspiration. Their story illustrated that genuine connections could be formed in the most unlikely circumstances, and that these connections could lead to profound personal growth and transformation. The audience was left with a sense of hope and optimism, believing in the power of human connection and the potential for positive change. Sophie and Mr. Harold's journey was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring strength of kindness and compassion. As Sophie and Mr. Harold looked to the future, they did so with a sense of excitement and anticipation. Their journey had shown them the power of kindness and the importance of supporting one another. The emotional connection they shared was a source of strength and inspiration, guiding them through life's challenges. The audience, moved by their story, was left with a sense of hope and a belief in the transformative power of compassion. Sophie and Mr. Harold's story was far from over, and their journey together promised to continue bringing joy, inspiration, and positive change to those around them. As we reach the end of this heartwarming and inspiring story, Sophie and Mr. Harold's journey has shown us the profound impact that kindness, compassion, and mutual support can have on our lives. Their relationship, forged through an unexpected act of generosity, transformed both their lives in ways they never could have imagined. Sophie's resilience and Mr. Harold's unwavering support remind us that even in the darkest times, there is always hope and the potential for positive change. Sophie's journey from despair to hope, from uncertainty to stability, is a testament to the power of human connection. Mr. Harold's role as her mentor and friend was instrumental in this transformation, highlighting the importance of believing in and supporting one another. Their story has not only inspired those around them, but has also left a lasting legacy of kindness and compassion. As you reflect on Sophie and Mr. Harold's story, I encourage you to think about the small acts of kindness you can incorporate into your own life. Remember, even the smallest gesture can have a profound impact on someone's day or even their life. Let Sophie and Mr. Harold's journey be a reminder that we all have the power to make a difference, no matter how small it may seem. Now, I invite you to continue this journey of inspiration and hope. There's another incredible story waiting for you right here on our channel. Click on the video appearing on your screen to dive into another emotional and uplifting narrative that will leave you moved and inspired. Don't miss out on the next chapter of these amazing stories that celebrate the best of the human spirit. If you've been touched by Sophie and Mr. Harold's story, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. By doing so, you'll never miss an update and will continue to receive the best heartwarming and emotional stories straight to your feed. Your support helps us keep bringing these powerful stories to life. Lastly, if you believe in the power of these stories and want to help us continue sharing them, consider supporting us through the link provided in the pinned comment. Every contribution helps us to keep creating and bringing these touching stories to you every day. Thank you for being part of our community and for supporting our mission to spread kindness, hope, and inspiration.